Hello and good evening. The Home Ministry has handed over the probe into the twin drone strikes at Air Force Station in Jammu to the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA. We'll get you more on the progress of the probe and the steps being taken to deal with this fresh threat to national security in Newsnight tonight. I'm Gautam Roy. We'll also be talking about how the Health Ministry has granted emergency use authorization to the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to further strengthen the battle against the pandemic in the country. But first, as always, our headlines. Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine given emergency use authorization in India. The Union Health Ministry makes the announcement about the availability of the fourth vaccine against COVID-19 in the country. Says COVID vaccine is completely safe for lactating mothers. COVID vaccination figures cross the 33 crore mark nationwide. COVID cases keep declining steadily in the country. Less than 40,000 daily new cases registered after 102 days. Active cases go down further to 5,52,659. Overall recovery rate climbs further to 96.87%. Home Ministry issues fresh advisory to states to consider implementation of targeted and prompt actions for COVID management. Key meeting chaired by Prime Minister Modi to further strengthen India's defences. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval also attend the meeting. Issues related to modernising the defence forces with the latest weaponry and equipment discussed. Another step in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar inaugurates world-class 11.3 km long high-speed track in Indore to measure maximum speed capabilities of high-end cars and other categories of vehicles. Facts-finding committee constituted after the post-poll violence in West Bengal submits its report to the Union Home Ministry, finds that the Mamata Banerjee government failed completely to prevent the violence, termed the incidents of violence as pre-planned. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says international cooperation is the answer to the COVID challenge, be it vaccines, medicines, PPEs or oxygen. Addressing the G20 foreign ministers meeting at Matera in Italy, the minister says institutional multilateralism has been found wanting and vaccine equity will be the ultimate test for it. President Ramnath Kovind lays the foundation stone for the Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Memorial and Cultural Centre in Lucknow. Calls upon people to follow the values and ideals of Baba Saheb. Says Baba Saheb favoured a big role for women in the making of modern India. And the ICC T20 World Cup scheduled to be held in India is shifted to the UAE and Oman. The contest will be held between the 17th of October and the 14th of November. ICC takes the call due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, first up, the Union Health Ministry has added more heft to the vaccination battlefront against COVID-19 by granting emergency use authorization to a fourth shot, which will soon become available in the country. New drug permission has been green-lighted for Moderna's vaccine, which will be imported to the country in the coming days. Here's more.
The Union government is committed to accelerating the pace and expanding the scope of COVID-19 vaccination throughout the country. The vaccination drive has been ramped up to control COVID-19 across the nation. India on Tuesday made way for the fourth coronavirus vaccine. New drug permission has been granted to Moderna, the first internationally developed vaccine.
New drug permission has been granted to Moderna. This is the first internationally developed vaccine for which now such permission exists today. And as I said, this new drug permission for restricted use, which is the other name for emergency use authorization, is now in operation, and this potentially opens up a clear possibility clear likelihood of this vaccine being imported into India.
The Union Health Ministry on Tuesday reiterated that COVID-19 vaccines which are being administered in India are safe for lactating mothers.
क्या ये चारों वैक्सीन लैक्टेटिंग विमेन को स्तनपान कराती हुई महिलाओं को देने चाहिए, देने जा सकते हैं, सेफ हैं? The answer is yes, yes and yes. ये सारे वैक्सीन स्तनपान कराती हुई महिलाओं को लेने हैं, ये बिल्कुल सेफ है। और जैसे मैंने पहले भी क्लैरिफाई किया कि स्तनपान कराइए, वैक्सीन लीजिए, उसके बाद फिर स्तनपान कराइए जैसे भी बच्चे को जरूरत है।
The Health Ministry also said India surpassed the US in COVID-19 vaccination.
30 करोड़ का जो बेंचमार्क था, अगर जो अवेलेबल डेटा कहता है कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ने 174 दिन लिए, इंडिया ने उसी 30 करोड़ बेंचमार्क को 159 डेज में कवर किया। इसी के साथ ही 31 करोड़ का बेंचमार्क जहां यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में 183 डेज लगे, इंडिया ने उसको केवल 2 दिन बाद ही यानी कि 161 डेज में पूरा किया। इसी के साथ ही आज हम 32 करोड़ का अगर बेंचमार्क की बात करते हैं, तो जहां यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स को 193 डेज लगे और आज हमने उसको 163 दिनों में पूरा किया।
After the new vaccination policy, an average of 57,68,000 doses are being given daily.
अप्रैल के माह में टोटल वैक्सीनेशन जो हुआ, डोजेज जो दी गई वह थी 8.99 करोड़ डोजेज, मई में 6.1 करोड़ डोजेज और जून में अब तक 10.75 करोड़ डोजेज दी जा चुकी हैं। रूरल प्रांत में जो हमारे सेंटर्स हैं वर्सेस अर्बन प्रांत में जो हमारे सेंटर्स हैं, और माने कि उन सेंटर्स में रूरल और अर्बन पॉपुलेशन आती है, तो हम देखें कि हमारी रूरल की कवरेज 9.72 करोड़ डोजेज है 1 मई टू 24 जून, जो यानी कि 56% है, और अर्बन की 7.68 करोड़ डोजेज है जो कि 44% है।
As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the Government of India has been supporting the states and UTs by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost. The trial process for vaccination of children continues. Children aged between 2 to 6 years will be screened at AIIMS, New Delhi. Earlier, children in the age group of 6 to 18 years were screened and given the first dose of vaccine. With Bureau Inputs, DD India.
At the same time, new cases of COVID-19 are declining at a steady pace in the country. This has led to a drop in active cases, and the number of recovered cases have set a new record as well. The union and state governments remain on their toes while guarding against the Delta Plus variant, while marching forth strongly on the vaccination front.
There's a steady decline in the number of daily new cases of COVID-19 in the country. Less than 40,000 fresh cases have been detected in the country after 102 days. 37,556 fresh new cases were detected in the country in the last 24 hours. Nearly 2 crore 94 lakh people have recovered from the disease so far in India. The daily positivity rate has come down at 2.12%. 56,994 patients recovered from the illness during the last 24 hours. The overall recovery rate has gone up to 96.87%. But Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that it would be premature to believe that the second COVID wave has subsided completely, and the need is to further accelerate vaccination.
अपने आसपास, अपने परिवार में, अपने कार्यस्थल पर सभी लोग जो 18 साल से ऊपर के हैं उनको वैक्सीन लेने के लिए हम प्रेरित करें। जितनी जल्दी हम वैक्सीन लेंगे और जितना बेहतर ढंग से कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर हम अपनाएंगे, हम खुद भी अपने प्राणों की अच्छी रक्षा कर पाएंगे और अपने परिवारजन और अपने मित्रजनों को भी कोविड से बचाने में सहयोग कर पाएंगे।
While COVID-19 cases are declining in the country, the Delta Plus variant remains an issue of concern in some states. 51 positive cases have been found in 12 states so far, and joint efforts are on by both the centre and the states to contain its spread.
फाइनल अपडेट है हमारे पास 51 आइसोलेट्स हैं और ये 12 स्टेट्स में प्रेजेंट हैं। मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, पंजाब, गुजरात, केरल, आंध्र, तमिलनाडु, उड़ीसा, राजस्थान, जम्मू, कर्नाटका एंड हरियाणा। अलग अलग नंबर्स हैं, जो केसेस हैं उनको क्वारंटाइन किया गया है, कंटेनमेंट के मेजर्स करे गए हैं और इसके ऊपर एक बिल्कुल क्लोज वॉच रखी जा रही है।
But more and more cases are emerging in the country where patients have recovered from the Delta Plus infection. 9 cases had been confirmed in Maharashtra's Sangameshwar area of Ratnagiri district, including 3 children, but all of them recovered. The overall cases are declining in the country, but there are still several districts where the number of cases remains a matter of concern. The government is focusing on creation of micro-containment zones to stop the virus from spreading. The states are also doing their utmost to contain the spread. While Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath held a review meeting with Team 9, efforts have also been intensified to combat the possibility of another wave of infections. In Punjab, restrictions have only been relaxed partially due to the Delta Plus threat.
आप देख रहे होंगे जगह जगह जनप्रतिनिधियों के माध्यम से, आंगनबाड़ी कार्यकर्तियों के माध्यम से, हमारी निगरानी समितियों के माध्यम से जो मेडिकल किट्स हैं वो बांटी जा रही हैं, चाहे सैनिटाइजेशन का हो, चाहे मास्क लगाने का हो, उसका भी वितरण कर रहे हैं, भाप की मशीनों का भी कर रहे हैं। हॉस्पिटल में जो इक्विपमेंट्स हैं, उन इक्विपमेंट्स को में और वृद्धि करने के लिए जो भी इसके हमारे विभिन्न बीमारियों के लिए ज़रूरी हैं, उनमें हम लोगों ने इसको कोशिश की है कि सारी व्यवस्थाएं हमारी चुस्त दुरुस्त रहें। प्राथमिक केंद्रों को भी हम लोगों ने गोद लेने का काम जनप्रतिनिधियों ने भी किया है।
Apart from different government authorities, even the private health sector is working hard to vaccinate everyone. In Bengaluru, a private hospital organized a special vaccination camp for transgenders. But instances are still emerging where people are seen to have thrown caution to the winds. Images of crowds at Varanasi's Sabzi Mandi are worrisome and seem like an invitation for disaster. While governments and different stakeholders are working day and night to combat COVID, people also need to be responsible and not weaken this fight. Bureau Report, DD India.
And that brings up our In Focus tonight. Well, India gives nod to Moderna COVID vaccine is our In Focus, and to talk about it we have Dr. N.K. Arora with us. He is Chairman, National Technical Advisory Group on COVID-19 Immunization, and Dr. S.K. Sareen, Member, COVID-19 National Task Force and Director, Institute of Liver and Biliary Science, is also with us. Good evening to you both. Dr. Arora, if I could come to you first, this is a major development. A 4th vaccine will soon be available in the country, and it's, well, in terms of the kind of results that it's given, it's perhaps the most effective vaccine worldwide, the Moderna vaccine, in terms of having the possibility, the capability to prevent COVID-19 from spreading.
Yes, thank you, Gautam. You are absolutely right. Moderna is a mRNA vaccine, which is like next generation vaccine. mRNA platforms are is being used for the first time in human to develop a vaccine, and we have already got globally 2 vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna. There are several others are also in the offing, and I must also share with our viewers that a Indian mRNA vaccine is also going to be for our people very soon. It is entered into second stage of trial, second phase, and I think by October we should be able to get our indigenous vaccine. But you are right, this is as part of our bouquet of vaccines. This is the 4th vaccine which has been introduced for our people, and I'm sure it will be welcomed by one and all. You made another statement about the effectiveness of this vaccine.
Yes.
So I would like to clarify 3 or 4 things so that the people see it in the right perspective. The most important component of all the COVID vaccines today is that these vaccines should prevent serious disease. They should prevent hospitalization and ICU need for ICU care, and eliminate or minimize the death possibility. And here I would like to see that almost all the vaccine, including Covaxin and Covishield, also provide that kind of protection over 90%. while this Moderna may be more than 95%. But the important thing this mRNA vaccine provides it decelerates the transmission. It is much more effective in reducing the transmission of virus from one individual to the other. So that is one of the highlights of this vaccine, and which is much better as compared to the other vaccines.
Right. Now,
So
Dr. Serene, if I
one
could...
other point,
yes, Dr.
Gautam, I
Arora.
would like to say here that this vaccine has a special requirement for storage and transport. It requires deep freeze storage and minus 40-degree storage, and then even transport. And therefore, it will require, wherever this vaccine is to be given, we'll have to have an infrastructure in place where the vaccine can be stored in a safe manner so that the vaccine remains effective.
Right. I was actually going to ask Dr. Serene about that, but you've already mentioned it. Now, Dr. Serene, considering all the factors and the others, of course, being that we don't know in what quantum, at what price, it's not clear right now. I'm sure it will become clearer in the days to come. But in terms of how things have been so far with the Moderna vaccine, it being available in several other countries, perhaps almost as many as 45 countries have it. To what extent do you think it will add to this capability to fight COVID in India?
It's a very important question, Gautam, and good evening to Dr. Arora. The Moderna vaccine as well as the Pfizer, both are mRNA based vaccines. The advantage of Moderna at least is well published, that if you give one dose, single dose after day, that is day 9 onwards, the transmission is probably not decreased, but the severity of disease can start decreasing. Means if somebody contracts infection, the symptoms, the mortality can go down. Isn't that a big news? Just single dose, and after
Certainly.
day 8, the vaccine starts to show its effect. While for other vaccines that we have, you might actually have to wait longer, even maybe after second dose, few weeks. So the first advantage is its rapid antibody production. Second, it produces antibodies which have a bigger, repertoire. They are having more robust proteins to fight even the variants. It may not be as effective on variants, especially the Delta plus, which has the beta variant, but maybe marginally less. Let's say if it is effective 94%, as far as we have learned from the published data, it may come down to, let's say, 80% or so. But still, it is significantly going to be protective. Third, the vaccine has an advantage that if this comes to India and it is produced by Indian manufacturers, we will have a very good vaccine which may have long-lasting antibodies. The antibodies produced by these vaccines have been shown to persist even up to 6 months. They are safe for kidney patients, liver patients, and many other groups of patients.
Right.
So it's a huge boost for India, and I think we compliment all the regulatory bodies that they have permitted Moderna vaccine, and I do hope this is the first step of having good and imported vaccines to India.
Yes, definitely. Dr. Arora, now we already have the Covishield and the Covaxin, which is completely indigenously developed. They are being administered to people already. Pretty soon we'll have Sputnik 5 as well. And in the case of Moderna, it will be imported, I believe, in the initial stage. And right now, of course, we haven't heard anything about some kind of a technology transfer that it could be manufactured here as well.
Yes. So we hope that just like Sputnik is being manufactured, the manufacturing license is with 6 companies. And because our requirements are enormous, and unless we have a production here itself, and I very sincerely hope, and I think there would be efforts that the company which is importing is also takes it up for manufacturing. But as a first step, I think it's a welcome step. People, there are several learnings are involved with this vaccine and Sputnik. because both the vaccines require low temperature storage and transport requirements. Therefore, this is a experience for our program, that how do we handle it? Are we going to use it only for big cities or B and C class cities also? How is overall management at the time of administration is going to take place? So I think these are issues which will be resolved very rapidly over next few days, so that we can roll out this vaccine. But it will be not only good for us today for this particular vaccine, but in days to and months and weeks and months in future also.
Certainly.
Because I hope the other vaccines also become available here, as well as possibility of their manufacture in India.
Okay. And Dr. Sareen, it's also been claimed by Moderna that it can be given to even children up to the age, as low in age as 12 years old.
Well, that's a real, you know about it. The vaccine can be given in kids, and that's what we need. If we are able to find a reasonable price, I think every child in India should get this vaccine. Maybe Indian vaccine, the Zydus Cadila vaccine, which is likely to give us some results in next few weeks, can also be used in children if the results are good. But certainly Moderna can be given to kids. And if this is given and the teachers are given, we can open our schools any day, because they will make antibodies very fast. The requirement for Moderna, the only challenge Dr. Arora highlighted is the storage. I think they are improving their storage conditions also, so that it can be transported. But generally it will require a -20, -40 freezer. And each vial is a multi-dose. So once you open it, you will need 10, 11, or sometimes the maximum can go to 15 dosages. So that is also a requirement. So the vaccine wastage has to be carefully considered when you use these imported vaccines. Not a single dose is to be wasted. So I think the whole family can come, they all can get it. And if this is available into private sector, which is likely that they will probably get to the private hospitals or corporates, I think they can also give some social service. They can take up whole city, they can take a whole township, whole area, mohalla, and vaccinate everybody. No wastage, and you give it to everybody good quality vaccine.
And Dr. Arora, it was also being said that a big part of the reason why that these vaccines such as Pfizer and Moderna had not come to India as yet was because an indemnity waiver was being sought. Is that now completely settled? Can we presume that that particular issue in the case of Moderna, it seems it has been settled, and pretty soon in the case of Pfizer it might also be settled?
All of us must sincerely hope that those issues have been sorted out. And clearly for Moderna, that kind of path has been cleared. The vaccine is here. And as we know, the government has not committed for any indemnity. And that is important because India is the largest vaccine producer in terms of doses. And I'm sure tomorrow India will be a major source of even COVID vaccines for the rest of the world. And actually these things complicate, particularly for low and middle income countries and resource constrained, and our own country also. So it's a very welcome step. We must compliment the system and the people leadership who have been able to negotiate this. And if Pfizer also comes, because these vaccines can be manufactured very rapidly, scaling up possibility is huge. I mean, billions of doses can be produced in a short period. The second, as Professor Sareen was saying rightly, that see the virus is keep changing its shape, and every now and then new variants will keep on coming. We can't keep chasing of these virus every now and then and change the vaccine. But these mRNA vaccines have a they produce such large amount of antibodies that they are able to overcome the variation in the variants kind of thing. The virus, when it varies, it is able to take care. So it has one of those major advantages that, and particularly if it is manufactured here, then I think a lot of our efforts will bring faster results.
Right, right. Apart from the cold chain concerns, Dr. Sareen, any other concerns related to the vaccine in terms of, its supply runway? Because again, it's as it's in the case of Covaxin, the second shot is to be given after 4 weeks. Here, in the case of the Moderna vaccine as well, it has to be a month.
I think the other concerns are like for any other vaccine, this is not specific, that is any local reactions or thromboembolic or clotting related side effects, or there could be some side effects in those who already have some allergic reactions or are prone to these proteins the vaccine has. Other than that, there are no specific concerns. But one thing I would like to stress, whichever vaccine, maybe the best vaccine you take, but do remember that all of them have an efficacy, the best of the mRNA, 90 to 95, means you may still be amongst those 5 or 10% that may be exposed and can get infected and may even have severe disease. So remember that our only vaccine or our own protection is by self-lockdown, by putting on double mask. Even after vaccination till the end of this year, I would like to re-stress whichever vaccine you take, but your own vaccine which you generate by putting double mask should never be given up.
Right.
Second part is, even after vaccination, please remember that you do not feel that you can go to any other area. If there are like Delta mutants or plus and other variants, please remember, don't try to get exposed, because you may be a source of getting another variant being developed. So if there is an infection, containment in that area, rather than experimenting, is an idea. Contain the area where the infections has developed or are spreading. And we need a huge genomic surveillance. We need to, Dr. Arora is part of that major initiative, where the genomic surveillance in the country means the way mutations are occurring from one area to the other, they are moving. That has to be continued for a long time. We are in for a battle against the virus, which is changing shape every day. So genomic surveillance, our ability to develop new vaccines, even the mRNA platform, needs to be energized every day.
Okay.
Self-lockdown is absolutely mandatory.
Right, right. And that is a very good point that you made at the start of your answer about how people cannot think that if they're getting a vaccine, a Moderna vaccine, which has a high efficacy, 94-95%, Dr. Arora, that they can suddenly go mask free and just be back to the way things were.
In fact, you are absolutely correct, because some of USA and some of the European countries have gone in mask-free, France, for example. But their overall population coverage is, at least single dose is over 70%, and double dose is around 50%. And I'm sure we will very soon reach that stage, but we should wait till then. We are a huge country. We have to vaccinate over 1 billion people. Third thing is this variant. I must tell, Dr. Sareen rightly said, we have a world-class genomic surveillance system put in place now. And in fact, Delta Plus was identified in April itself. So from April onwards, April, May, June, in last 3 months, we have identified 52 cases. The public health action has already started because the government alerted the state governments and the districts. Containments have already started. So that is a very important concurrent activities for preventing the next wave. So we have immunization, we have corona appropriate behavior, and this genomic surveillance. All three are essential 3 pillars of controlling the corona infection and the disease and a pandemic in this country. And I'm sure we should be able to do it well.
Okay. And Dr. Sareen, one last question, if I could ask you. People are wondering, today it's been said that it's okay and safe for lactating, mothers to take the vaccine. And then people wonder, if it's safe for lactating mothers, why isn't it safe for pregnant ladies?
Well, even for pregnant ladies, the US data shows it is safe. There is a huge consortium in the US called V-Safe. Means the ladies were not aware that they are pregnant and they took the vaccine. Some had taken the vaccine and then they conceived. So it's a large data of about 800,000 pregnant women where these vaccines, both Pfizer and Moderna, when they were given, there were no additional side effects on the mother or on the newborn baby. However, I must say, nobody knows the side effects after a few years or so. So if you are pregnant otherwise and you have to take a vaccine, then you should certainly take it. It is permitted, but no vaccine and otherwise in pregnancy is generally recommended unless so I would say wait, and this is my personal feeling, may not be as scientific, but if somebody has taken, the baby and mother should not worry.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this evening to talk about a fourth vaccine in India's armory to fight the COVID battle. Thank you, Dr. Arora, for joining us as well.
Take a statement.
Okay, moving on now. Union Home Ministry has asked all states, union and territories to ensure implementation of targeted and prompt actions for COVID-19 management. In a letter to Chief Secretaries of States and Administrators of Union Territories, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla has urged them to issue directions to district and all other authorities to take necessary measures as advised by the Health Ministry in its letter yesterday for management of COVID-19. The Home Ministry said many states and union territories have started relaxing restrictions with decline in number of active cases. It was said that the process of relaxing restrictions must be carefully calibrated. The Home Ministry has asked states and UTs to closely monitor case positivity and bed occupancy on regular basis. It's asked them to regularly monitor districts with higher number of active cases per million population, as it is an important indicator to predict the need for upgrading health infrastructure and logistics. The Home Ministry said there should be a continuous focus on the five-fold strategy for effective management of COVID-19, that is test, track, treat along with vaccination and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting on Tuesday with a view to further strengthen the defence sector in the country. Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval also attended the meeting. According to sources, future challenges in the defence sector and issues related to equipping the armed forces with modern equipment were discussed. In particular, aspects relating to involving more youth and startups in this process were also deliberated upon. The Home Ministry has handed over the investigation into the twin drone strikes at the Air Force Station in Jammu to the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA, on Tuesday. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 drones were spotted at a Kaluchak military station in Jammu district during the intervening night of the 27th and 28th of June. The Jammu Kashmir police have seized 1 drone out of the 2. Meanwhile, India has raised the issue of the use of drones at the United Nations, saying it calls for serious attention by member states.
2 days after explosives were dropped on the Indian Air Force station in Jammu by 2 drones in the early hours of Sunday, security agencies have been on high alert after this shocking incident. The government on Tuesday handed over the probe into the twin drone strike on the Jammu Air Force station to the National Investigation Agency. The agency has already started its investigation and has collected all related documents from the Jammu and Kashmir police. It is being suspected that a Pakistan-based terror group was behind the attack. The possibility of the use of a long-distance launching pad to drive in drones with payloads of explosives is also being investigated. Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy on Tuesday said that our security forces are fully prepared to tackle such threats.
ये आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट है। पहले भी ड्रोन के द्वारा AK-47 आना, ड्रग्स भिजाना, ऐसा ये चल रहा है। हमारा सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस सक्षम है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहे, इसलिए इसमें कोई डरने की बात नहीं है। ड्रोन हमले हो, जो भी हमले हो, उसको पूरा रोकने का, उसको फेस करने का हमारा सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस, जम्मू कश्मीर का पुलिस हो, पैरामिलिट्री हो, मिलिट्री हो, कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ इसको फेस करेंगे।
आर्मी, CRP, एयरफोर्स, BSF, NSG के हर एक लोग के साथ मीटिंग लिए, पूरा तैयारी कर लिए। थ्रेट बहुत सीरियस थ्रेट है, ये टेक्नोलॉजिकल थ्रेट है, इसको टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू भी हम लोग रिस्पॉन्स करेंगे और उसमें हम लोग काफ़ी डिप्लॉयमेंट कर लिए हैं, क्योंकि ये स्ट्रेटेजिक इंपॉर्टेंस है, हम लोग शेयर नहीं कर सकते हैं पूरा डिटेल में। उसके बाद कल 15 कोर में जोशी 15 कोर कमांडर साहब ने मीटिंग ली, मैंने अटेंड किया। फर्दर उसको स्ट्रेंथन हम लोग कर रहे हैं, जितने वाइटल इंस्टेंशन है इसको भी, प्लस एलसी पर भी। उसके अलावा आज देखे होंगे जैसा एक डल के एरिया में एक ड्रोन फ्लाई कर रहा था, उसको पुलिस ने जब्त कर लिया, एफआईआर लॉन्च किया, उसको कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं हम लोग।
The Defence Ministry is keeping a close watch on the developments related to the incident and is closely monitoring the progress of the investigation with top officials of the Army. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh had spoken to Vice Air Chief Air Marshal H.S. Arora on Sunday over these low-intensity explosions at the Jammu Indian Air Force base. Meanwhile, India has raised the issue of possible use of weaponized drones for terror activities at the second high-level conference of the head of counter-terrorism agencies of the member states in the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday, saying it calls for serious attention by the member states. Special Secretary, Internal Security Ministry of Home Affairs, VSK Kaumudi, raising the matter, said, being a low-cost option and easily available, utilization of these aerial subsurface platforms for sinister purposes by terrorist groups such as intelligence collection, weapon, explosive delivery and targeted attacks have become an imminent danger and challenge for security agencies worldwide. The Special Secretary added, today, misuse of information and communication technology such as internet and social media for terrorist propaganda, radicalization and recruitment of cadre, misuse of new payment methods and crowdfunding platforms for financing of terrorism and misuse of emerging technologies for terrorist purposes have emerged as the most serious threats of terrorism and will decide the counter-terrorism paradigm going forward. It was due to the alertness and proactive approach of the army troops that a major attack was thwarted at the Jammu Air Base. Nonetheless, the movement of drones and the possibility of drones triggering blasts from across the border raises serious concern for the security agencies nationwide. Bureau Report, DD India.
India has taken another significant step in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat today. This is related to the testing of high-end, high-powered cars and other automobiles and is the longest of its kind in Asia and the 5th longest in the world. Here are the details.
India gets Asia's longest and world's 5th longest high-speed track for automobiles. Minister of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises Prakash Javadekar virtually unveiled Asia's longest 11.3-kilometer high-speed track in Indore. He inaugurated NATRAX, the high-speed track HST developed in an area of 1,000 acres of land. Speaking at the inauguration, Javadekar said that India is destined to become a hub of automobiles, manufacturing and spare parts, and we are fast moving towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat.
This is Make in India initiative. This is a declaration of political will that yes, India will not be only an important automobile center, but it will become the hub of automobile and not only of components. So this is, ये दुनिया का एक मुख्य ऑटोमोबाइल का केंद्र बनेगा, उत्पादन का भी, सेवाओं का भी और स्पेयर पार्ट्स का भी। ये तीनों काम हम आने वाले दिनों में करेंगे और जो सपना है भारत का, ज़्यादा रोजगार पैदा करे, ज़्यादा टैक्स कलेक्शन भी इससे हो और भारत के बनी गाड़ियां दुनिया की सभी सड़कों पर चले। This is India's dream.
Javadekar further said his ministry is committed to fulfilling the Prime Minister's dream of ensuring that India becomes a hub of auto manufacturing.
प्रधानमंत्री ने देश के तरक्की का जो सपना देखा है, वो भारत एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का हब बने। और जब हम सत्ता में आए थे तो 2 मोबाइल फैक्ट्रीज थी, आज लगभग 200 फैक्ट्रीज हो रही है। ऐसे ही व्हीकल के निर्माण में भी नई नई लागत आएगी और उससे रोजगार के अवसर और बहुत बढ़ेंगे।
Speaking on the occasion, Minister of State for Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises Arjun Ram Meghwal said that the government is promoting manufacturing and automobile industry as it will help in empowering the nation at a larger scale.
अब हमारे व्हीकल को बाहर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा टेस्टिंग के लिए। ये हाई स्पीड ट्रैक, ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण एक कड़ी जुड़ रही है नेट्रिक्स इंदौर में, और अगर एक्सपोर्ट को भी बढ़ावा मिलेगा और हमारे जो व्हीकल हैं उनको टेस्टिंग के लिए जब बाहर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा तो उनको लगेगा हम आत्मनिर्भर बन रहे हैं। ये भी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का एक संदेश है कि हम हर क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर क्यों नहीं बने। अब जब हम आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं उसमें ऐसे जो माइलस्टोन है ये हमें बहुत ताजा ताकत देते हैं।
NATRAC Center has multiple test capabilities and is a center of excellence for vehicle dynamics. IT is a one-stop solution for all sorts of high-speed performance tests for the widest categories of vehicles, from two-wheelers to heavy tractor-trailers, with inputs from Chandrasekhar, DD India.
President Ramnath Kovind, on the second day of his visit to Lucknow, laid the foundation stone of a memorial and cultural center to be built in the memory of Baba Saheb B.R. Ambedkar. And on the occasion, the President reiterated the thoughts of Dr. Ambedkar, saying that the sole mission of the government should be to benefit each and every individual.
On the second day of his visit to the capital of Uttar Pradesh, President Ramnath Kovind on Tuesday laid the foundation stone of Bharat Ratna Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Memorial and Cultural Center in Lucknow. Remembering Baba Saheb, President said that the multidimensional personality and invaluable contribution of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar to nation building revealed his extraordinary capability and talent.
93 साल पूर्व डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ने जिस सोच को आगे बढ़ाया, समता मूलक समाज की रचना, और उसके लिए उन्होंने एक समाचार पत्र का प्रकाशन प्रारंभ किया, समता नाम का। और हम सब ने देखा होगा उनकी पूरी जीवन यात्रा समता मूलक समाज के रचना पर ही व्यस्त रही।
Baba Saheb stressed on the need of politics based on the cultural values of morality and harmony.
ये समता अर्थात बाबा साहब के दिलों और दिमाग में ये शब्द एक ऐसा गुंजायमान था कि वो जानते थे कि जब तक इस देश में समता मूलक समाज का निर्माण नहीं होगा, सरकारें इस रास्ते पर नहीं चलेंगी, तब तक इस देश का समग्र विकास संभव नहीं है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauded the Uttar Pradesh government for taking the lead in popularizing the ideals of respected Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar among the youth. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, "The Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhimrao Memorial and Cultural Center, Lucknow, will further popularize the ideals of respected Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar among the youth. I laud the Uttar Pradesh government for taking lead in this effort." The ceremony was also attended by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Addressing the ceremony, Yogi Adityanath said that under Prime Minister's guidance, Panchatirth has been established in order to keep the memories of Baba Saheb alive forever.
ये पंचतीर्थ बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर की स्मृतियों के साथ साथ भारत की उस आवाज को वैश्विक स्तर तक पहुंचाने का भी एक माध्यम है, जो विश्व मानवता को सदैव वंचितों, दलितों, उपेक्षितों की आवाज के रूप में बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर का एक नया संबल सदैव प्रदान करेगा।
A memorial and cultural center will be built in Lucknow in the memory of the architect of Indian Constitution, Baba Saheb Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. A 25-feet statue of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar will be established in the center. Vikas Singh's report for DD India.
Now, a day after demonstrations by Sikh outfits rocked Jammu and Kashmir, a delegation of Sikh leaders met Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy in New Delhi and submitted a memorandum over the alleged forced conversions of 2 women in the Union Territory. Here's more.
A delegation of Sikh leaders met Union Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy in New Delhi on the issue of the forced religious conversion of Sikh girls in Kashmir. The delegation called for taking stringent steps on this issue and demanded making a law in Jammu and Kashmir on the lines of the laws existing in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh.
एक 60 साल के अधेड़ व्यक्ति के साथ जबरन उसकी शादी कर दी जाती है और हम कुछ नहीं कर पाते वहाँ पे। इसलिए ये हम सरकार से निवेदन करने आए हैं कि जत्थेदार अकाल तख्त साहब ने एक चिट्ठी लिखी है एलजी साहब को कहकर कि यूपी और मध्य प्रदेश जैसा जो लव जिहाद के खिलाफ कानून है वैसा कानून कश्मीर में भी लाना चाहिए। हमने कहा कि उस कानून को लाइए और सिख बच्चियों को बचाइए और ये कहा कि अगर अभी कानून नहीं आ सकता तो ऑर्डिनेंस लाइए। ऑर्डिनेंस लाकर धर्मांतरण रुकना चाहिए और वहां पर बंदूक की जोर पर निकाह पढ़ाने का प्रोसेस बंद होना चाहिए।
It is pertinent to note that cases of religious conversion in a premeditated manner in Uttar Pradesh had recently come to light. With regard to religious conversion, the talk of foreign funding has also come to the fore. Meanwhile, Union Minister of State for Home Affairs has said that there has been marked reduction in the cases of religious conversion in recent years and related foreign funding has also been curbed.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी सरकार आने के बाद देश में धर्मांतरण बहुत कम हुआ। पहले हजारों ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हजारों करोड़ विदेशों से लाकर देश में धर्मांतरण काम करने के लिए खर्च करते थे। मोदी सरकार आने के बाद उसके ऊपर रोक लगाया, उसके ऊपर एक एक पैसे का हिसाब मांग रहे।
In Srinagar, reports of 2 Sikh girls being forcefully kidnapped and married to old men had come to light. This snowballed into a major controversy, leading to staging of protest demonstrations against this by Sikh organizations in Jammu and Delhi. A delegation of Sikhs also met the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir as well. Shailendra Mishra's report, DD India.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also came out with support for the tourism sector in an announcement to support various sectors of the economy. Her announcement of 5 lakh free tourist visas and financial support for about 11,000 registered tour guides has brought some cheer to the people working in the industry.
COVID pandemic has impacted service sectors across the globe. Government has announced some financial measure to help tourism and hospitality industry revive. Announcing measures to revive the tourism sector battered by COVID-19, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said financial support would be provided to more than 11,000 registered tourist guides, travel and tourism stakeholders. She also said that once the visa issuance for international travel is restarted, the first 5 lakh tourists will be issued free of charge.
The scheme will cover about 10,700 regional level tourist guides who are recognized by Ministry of Tourism and tourist guides who are recognized by state government. They get 100% guaranteed credit of 10 lakhs for the TTSs who are agents or travel agencies and 1 lakh for tourist guides who are licensed either by the regional or the state level authorities.
These measures are expected to incentivize short-term tourists visiting India and tourism stakeholders. Government's decision has been widely welcomed by the tourism sector.
You should allow e-tourist visas for all those people who have been, vaccinated twice, like the whole world is doing. The whole world is opened up. Russia, Ukraine, UAE, Mauritius, Thailand, a lot of countries in Europe are opening up. Switzerland has opened up. A lot of countries have opened up. So we should open up our borders. We should learn to live with this disease. And there were about 1 million people when we announced the lockdown who were holding visas.
Waiving off visa fee for 5 lakh people is a very good gesture. We will be losing a small amount in form of visa fee. But look at the larger picture, which we will be gaining when the millions and millions of tourists come, use the airlines, use the guides, tour operators and hotels. That will be one of the major steps in the revival of the industry.
The total financial implication of this measure would be 100 crore. The scheme would be applicable till March 31st, 2022 or till 5 lakh visas are issued, whichever is earlier. 2019 saw almost 1.1 crore foreign tourist arrivals who collectively spent $30 billion on leisure and business. The average daily stay for a foreign tourist in India is 21 days and their average daily spending per tourist is about $34 or rupees 2,400. Government believes that the free visa announcement could be a tipping point when one has to opt among various choices of destination. Abhishek Jha, DD India.
Now let's take a look at what else is making news around the country as well in our national roundup. The Supreme Court on Tuesday dismissed a plea challenging the Delhi High Court's order, which had rejected a PIL seeking to halt Central Vista construction work in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. A bench of Justice A.M. Khanwilkar, Dinesh Maheshwari and Anirudh Bose said it is not inclined to interfere with the High Court's order, as the PIL petitioners had selectively chosen Central Vista project and did not even do basic research about other public projects which were allowed during the lockdown in the national capital. The Supreme Court has also directed on Tuesday states and union territories to implement the One Nation One ration card scheme by the 31st of July. The scheme allows migrant workers to get ration at the place of their work in other states as well where their ration cards were not registered. BJP President JP Nadda said that during the COVID-19 pandemic in Assam, some opposition parties went into isolation and some into ICU. Addressing a meeting of the state BJP executive virtually, Nadda claimed that opposition parties come across as political tourists only during elections, but after that they are nowhere to be seen. Former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh did not appear before the Enforcement Directorate in connection with a money laundering case on Tuesday, citing health issues. Deshmukh, through his legal representative, has also sought a copy of the enforcement case information report that the ED has registered against him. Deshmukh had failed to appear before investigators on the 26th of June when the first summons were issued. The Uttarakhand government has issued fresh set of COVID guidelines for Char Dham Yatra. The state government on Tuesday suspended the Char Dham Yatra until further notice, a day after the state High Court stayed for 4 weeks the cabinet's decision to allow the yatra for local residents of 3 districts from the 1st of July. The Customs Department on Tuesday arrested 2 people with gold worth 2.6 crore rupees in Varanasi. Both the accused were coming from Hijli station in West Bengal to New Delhi by train. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Tuesday said that the international cooperation work, which is an answer to COVID challenge, be it vaccines, medicines, PPEs or oxygen. In fact, addressing the G20 foreign ministers meeting at Matera in Italy, the minister said institutional multilateralism has been found wanting. He said reforms have many forms, but vaccine equity will be the immediate test. He also said real economy needs decentralized globalization, including in manufacturing, food and health. He stressed that resilient supply chains must develop in parallel. The External Affairs Minister also spoke at the G20 session on Africa and underlined India's solidarity with Global South and respect for African priorities. Dr. Jaishankar said that India will step up its digital cooperation in health, education and capacity building. He further said that India will work closely on health and food security, responding to the COVID impact. He said our development projects will continue to progress, especially in power, water, agriculture and IT. In some more international news, US Speaker Nancy Pelosi, in a meeting with Israeli President Reuven Rivlin, pledged bipartisan support to Israel. The leader said that both US and Israel share a friendship that will not be endangered by disagreements. President Rivlin met the US Speaker after meeting President Joe Biden at the White House. Prosecutors have stepped up investigations into football legend Maradona's death after allegations of malpractice by the team of doctors appointed to take care of the star footballer. Prosecutors are hearing evidence involving 7 people accused of contributing to the death of the football player. Foreign ministers from the group of 20 major economies met in Italy on Tuesday for the first time in 2 years due to the COVID pandemic. The members aim to push multilateral cures for global crises after the pandemic hit the world economy. Issues such as global health, climate emergency and international trade are being discussed. China's foreign ministry has sought clarification on the recent characterization of Taiwan as a country. The Chinese foreign ministry has called the statement made by a senior Japanese official as erroneous and a serious violation. Japanese Minister Yasuhide Nakayama had warned of a growing threat posed by Russian and Chinese collaboration and the need to protect Taiwan as a democratic country. South Africa's Constitutional Court sentenced former President Jacob Zuma to 15 months in jail for contempt of court after he failed to appear at a corruption case inquiry earlier this year. The inquiry is examining allegations of high-level corruption by the former South African president during his tenure. Hundreds of Mujahideens, former Mujahideens and many civilians gathered in the mountain area of Ghorban district in Parwan province, vying to fight against the Taliban. Since the US began withdrawal of its troops from Afghanistan, the violence in the region has escalated. Analysts warn of civil war as more groups take up arms. Russia will fail to meet the target of vaccinating 60% people against COVID-19 by the autumn of this year due to sluggish uptake of shots by the people, according to the Kremlin. Amid surging cases in the country, the reluctance against vaccination is set to push back the targets. Let's now get you a sports update as well. The International Cricket Council on Tuesday confirmed that the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021 will be staged in the UAE and Oman due to the ongoing COVID-19 situation in India. The BCCI will remain the hosts of the event, which will now be held in Dubai International Stadium, the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi, the Sharjah Stadium and the Oman Cricket Academy ground from the 17th of October to the 14th of November this year. And with that, it's a wrap on Newsnight tonight. For all the updates, do stay tuned to DD News and DD India, and above all, do stay safe, mask up, social distance, wash your hands, and as and when your turn comes, do get vaccinated.